And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Hey, Ginger, how's that vacation, huh?
John, it's a wet one. Hi, everybody. Those of you weren't expecting us to go live tonight with the show because we really thought we'd be out of town on vacation, but
on a holiday. We like
on
to
a
say
holiday. On a holiday. That's right. Kind of. It's always a working holiday for us. Anyway, some sort of painting holiday. And what happened was that hurricane somebody or other came into town. Who's that? Harvey. That'd be Harvey, right? And let's see, I'm just blocking him out of my mind. And he just rained and rained and rained and rained and rained and rained. There was no end of the raining. And then the upshot of it is that nobody's going anywhere. In fact, everybody I know is in their neighborhoods are kind of surrounded by little islands of water. We really can't go very far. For instance, I couldn't go downtown Houston if I wanted to. And my friend Daniel, people have asked about him. And he was up in the woodlands visiting his girlfriend, and he wanted to get back down to help his dad, and he couldn't get out of the woodlands today. He was looking for all these back roads. It's a challenge, and what that means is that the grocery stores can't get their food because the trucks can't get in to give them any food. So they're selling out whatever they have, and it's just a new day for just all kind of weird food probably no one's ever eaten. And because people are just buying stuff, and the one grocery store we found open was only open, for a limited amount of time. They were letting just a few people in at a time, and I think I posted it on Facebook. The lines were pretty long. So at some point, Sammy's got a really good video of that, and he might put it up on his channel. So what we're going to be painting tonight is a hibiscus flower, but the thing of it is that it isn't just enough to paint the flower. I want you to understand why brushstrokes are important. The direction of your brushstrokes, I don't care how well you paint the flower, if your brushstrokes are not going in the correct position or the correct direction, it won't look like the painting you want it to look like. And a lot of times, particularly new artists, don't understand that your brushstrokes are like a groove in a record. Those of you who remember what records were.
What are records?
And so, like an old record player,
are we talking
remember?
Police records or what?
We're talking about,
Vinyl.
Vinyl records, yeah. So the grooves and it played. Well, it's the same kind of thing. Maybe you were talking about the ones they used to put on wax, John. I mean, you're a little older than the rest of us, but in any event, it makes a difference. So we're going to talk about how to create the most realistic flower we can do just by doing a few simple things. We have a traceable for this on our website. There is a description below. The first thing we're going to do is paint our canvas yellow. And while I let that dry, we're going to do a few announcements because we don't know how long our feed's going to be. And I promise you, for some weird reason, we lose this feed, what we'll do, and it's not a weird reason because it's a hurricane, we could just be gone here in seconds. What we'll do is I'll keep recording this. Well, I won't be able to if we have no power. As long as we have power. Like last night, we had no power. As long as we have power, I'll record it and then we'll put it back up. So don't panic. We'll make sure that you get to see that. You won't start it and then say what happened. So we're going to start here. If John would be so kind as to scoot down to the table.
I already did. I am Johnny on the spot today.
You certainly are. So I've got this 9 by 12 canvas, and someone's going to ask, they always ask, because no one ever watches the other ones, I guess, why do you sand a canvas? We do it because your canvas is very rough. This was put on very inexpensively with a machine, and if you left it like this, your brushes will wear out very quickly, and it will take a lot more paint to create the effect, and it'll be bumpy. There's all kinds of good reasons why you want to sand it with a lightweight can. You don't re-gesso it, you just lightly sand it, okay? Now
I'm going to mute her while she does that because that is kind of loud in your ears. It doesn't take long. Oh, whatever happened to the bread? Good question. That's on one of the other episodes. We finally determined that it never molded, but it did start getting the little moths in it. So that never molded. So that the bread has been disposed of in the proper receptacle. radioactive.
Started to get bugs, but it didn't mold. Weird, wasn't it? I mean, that's just creepy, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Just creepy. All right, so you see that didn't take long. It's all that, right?
it's all that.
And we're going to do, actually, I'm even going to make it better than this one. I'm going to show you kind of a trick. I always like to do things twice, because usually by the second time I come up with a batch, what I consider a more efficient way to do something. And while we're doing that, I want to say that I want to thank everybody who's become a member in the last couple of weeks, joined our Academy of GingerCookLive.gallery. For those of you who aren't aware of what we do, we have an online painting school, and it goes from beginner to clear to advanced lessons, and you get personal art coaching with me. And while that is so cool, because every month we try to do an advanced lesson, a beginning lesson, an intermediate lesson. This is a damp brush, by the way. It is a number 12, a Bristol-on, but any bright brush would be fine, slightly damp. And I'm just going to cover this. I'm telling you this great stuff. I'm going to cover this with yellow paint, okay?
That happens to be the CAD yellow.
That's
medium.
CAD yellow medium, all right?
Hey, we'd like to thank Miss Brooke for the donation to keep us alive and well.
Hey,
We
listen,
appreciate
this
that.
is so nice of you, Miss Brooke. Thank you very much. A lot of people who are new to live chat, this is the only place on YouTube you can do this during a live show, not after it's been recorded and left up. During a live show, you can donate anything from $1 on up. And, we really appreciate it. Could you imagine if 200 people watched the show and everybody just chipped in $1, what a difference that would make for just any of the artists that are doing live shows, not just me. But I'm just saying it's a very nice thing to do. We appreciate it. And also, if you have a question that you want answered and you don't feel it's getting answered, of course we're going to answer it anyway if we see it, but sometimes the chat goes by very quickly. People get to talk about the rain and their uncle, and we miss your questions. So if you're in the live chat, you can also, when you do a donation with the live chat,
It's highlighted.
It's highlighted. Your question's highlighted. Somebody sees it. And also, we want to thank our moderators, Wendy and Kim Song and Tanya.
I only see Tanya so far.
Tanya? Well, Tanya may be the only one that...
Tanya and the Tech Bear.
Tanya and Sammy the Tech Bear. We really appreciate that, because our moderators are the ones that help, they clear the room of trolls if they see any, and also they help you get your questions answered, and sometimes they may have an answer that's even quicker than you could get it to us, like, referring to some video, but in the past they may pull it up and you'll see that. And the thing about it is, you guys, if you're watching this after the chat, all right, and this is really important, you don't see any of that. The chat doesn't stay up. Some of the most interesting conversations, really, it's happened during the live shows. It's really cool, and this is why people like to do them. And also, it's a great way. I think you'll find we have a real artist community. I want to thank everybody for their prayers and well-being on our flood situation. Not to make light of this, there are people that are sitting on the roofs of their houses tonight waiting to be rescued. And I mean, it is the worst storm that's ever hit the United States, ever. We just happen to be we're about 25 miles out of Houston. It's not stopped raining. John and I feel very fortunate. We live just south of Tomball, Texas, which is right there. And then my daughter Cinnamon lives in the Archer, but she lives in Humble. And while we're all kind of stranded in our houses, we all have houses and we're not sitting on the roof. So we want to thank you guys very much for your prayers. That very well, but maybe you just kind of protected all of us. I'm telling you, there's something about the power of prayer. People don't get it why your house is also okay. So we want to thank you very much for that. And also, it really goes to show you the warm and fuzziness that we have with our art community. We have a lot of friends. We just don't have people that watch our videos, but we've made friends with people all over the world. We appreciate that. We appreciate the fact you've subscribed to our channel. About half the people that watch just don't bother. And listen,
speaking of subscribe, let's bring up something, shall we?
Sure, let's do that.
I have a way now to bring up our current live count.
Hey, and we made 40,000 subscribers this week.
You can see it right now, 40,271.
Because of you guys, so thank you so much for that. That's a whoopee, right?
That is a whoopee. Now we have 300. We've had over 300 people on the chat on our session right now. If you haven't subscribed, let's see that number jump by 100 tonight.
Yeah, that'd be
great.
You
got it right there. Let's push that baby up there. This is a telethon.
Telethon. Let's do it, you guys. Okay.
Now, before you do anything, we got some things coming through that we need to take care of first. So let me interrupt you between story time.
Yes.
Sherry, thank you for your donation.
Sherry, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
I got to go back up because these all got pushed off. What kind of sandpaper, lightweight sandpaper you use? It's a 220 or higher. Mm-hmm. Is Daniel's store underwater? Do we know?
Daniel's store is not underwater. I'm going to just show you this while we're talking. Daniel's store is not underwater. I talked to him today, but he did send all his employees home, which probably Friday, he said, don't come back on Saturday. And I mean, the corporate doesn't have any idea, they're just clueless. But Daniel's not dumb, you know what I mean? And the freeways around his store are underwater. Guess what? The freeways are underwater. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
I mean, nobody can get in and out of Houston. People are just stuck. They had to evacuate 2 hospitals.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to top it off, the Army Corps of Engineers said, hey, you guys, let's let the water out of some of these reservoirs. And so houses that have never flooded before are now being inundated. So it wasn't even just the rain. It was these dams that they let loose.
Well, they had to let them loose or the whole thing would break through.
Well, I'm not saying they didn't have to. I'm just saying it's a thing. So anyway, if you guys are liking flowers, this is...
Hey.
What?
Was I done yet?
Well, I'm still trying to talk here.
Hey, I was in the middle of trying to catch up on all these things.
All right, catch up. What's your next thing?
What does your shirt say? It says 5 out of 4 people have trouble with fractions.
Thank you. That's what it says. And also, you see my little color wheel with the numbers on it. I painted my shirt and I painted the paint tubes on it.
That was the next question.
Yeah, I painted it, and we actually have we probably have a speed painting video on how I did this shirt. I think we filmed it. I don't know. If we do, we'll put it up. I just, when the shirts get enough paint on them, then I can go ahead and paint on it. But the secret to painting on any shirt is it has to be washed first. Can't paint on a new one. Got to wash it.
And then the last one I see right now, then I'll let you have the floor again. Ginger, do you always spray the front of your canvas with water? I didn't see you do that this time, but you have done it sometimes. But
sometimes I do a large canvas. Sometimes I'll mist with water, like a big large canvas like behind me. And it's easier to get that first layer of paint on.
Yeah.
But so not all the time, but some of the time for sure. And it's a fine water mist too, you guys. This is that's important because it's like it's not a Windex bottle. It's a fine mist like these. Jerry sells these little ones. I don't think this one has a label on anymore for about $1. Some of the other companies. Oh, here's one. This one is not the Jerry's one. This is by Atelier, and that's like a lot more money for the same. Jerry's basically went to China and knocked them off. It's just what they did, right? Nobody's got a patent on a water bottle, I suppose. So anyway, they're $1 Jerry's. A good investment. Water mister, or maybe one of those non-aerosol hairspray pumps. Small one per size is good too. All right, why I brought this other painting down here while we're doing this, we're letting the yellow dry on this, this is our abstract rose. This is going to be the lesson for this week's members. If you're a member of gingercooklive.gallery, we will have it traceable on the website for this, so that this was, I know this looks complicated, but it's actually a 1-cookie lesson because you can trace it on, and then I want you to really learn how to make all these colors. So it's almost like, it's very relaxing. This is almost cathartic.
It's a color book.
It's really pretty, but I think it's kind of cool. And anyway, that's the lesson for this week coming up Thursday for our members. Okay.
I better check, make sure that's ready.
And then the 1st of September is coming up here. When is that, John?
When is the 1st of September?
Yeah.
Real soon.
Real soon. So this is our Wave and Water masterclass painting. Every month, our Wave and Water masterclass people get a new video. This was inspired by one of our old dead guys. And why I did it was because I like the jaggedness of the rocks. It's almost monochromatic. There's a lot of detail in the waves and how you paint them, and you get the movement of the water and the rocks. And so we spent a long time focusing just on rocks. I think sometimes people get the waves down, but they come to the rocks, they kind of lose it. So we're talking about how to do rocks. Anyway, I think this would be, I think the man's was Richards. William Trost Richards was the artist that originally painted this in 1892. See, the ocean's still there, still doing its thing, right? So we're doing these announcements now. Okay, so now I've got your opinion on something. I need you guys' opinion on something. So
okay, now before. When she says you want your opinion, you can vote here. No, you give us your opinion here, but when the video is done and up on YouTube, We want the comments to actually be written there so we have a history of them. Because these totally disappear for us
and
as
we
well.
won't even know what you said half the time, okay?
Yeah.
So this was a painting that I found the photograph. I really liked it. I thought it was different. I want to know, and I thought, well, we've got an audience that kind of just likes flowers and stuff, I don't know. So tell me what you think. Oops, let's turn it upside down. Tell me what you think about this. This is called A Day with Graffiti. Okay?
Let's go the other way. There we go.
And you see, we've got this funny little guy, and he's, having a good time on the wall. And I don't know, this as an artist just appealed to me. I have never done graffiti, but...
but you've always wanted to.
Well, the closest thing I ever did, shall I tell an awful story about myself? I was
sure.
a brat when I was about 12. Well, you have to appreciate my parents. But anyway, I was a brat, kind of acting out, and I can remember taking a can of paint and throwing it all over the wall of a new house under construction.
Did you really?
Uh-huh.
You are a brat.
I was. There was a couple of my friends with, and it was vandalism at its worst. You see, this is a much more constructive way to encourage vandalism, right?
to cure that little...
Yeah, so that was my early stages of vandalism, which I got cured of very quickly. We won't tell that story, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, we did that. We did some crazy stuff, but as the thing of it is that we started off with very mild pranks, and then as it got on, they got more intense.
Now, several donations have come in, so we'd like to thank those. Miss Brooke kicked in another round, and Miss Valentine did. And now Miss Milton put a question. Would love to have you teach us how to paint a Yorkie's face. I believe that's supposed to be paint.
A Yorkie's face. Well, you saw the one little dog we had. It's not going to be that different.
I mean, real close to that.
It's very close to it. You saw the one dog we have. I don't know if John's got a picture of it on the wall. Maybe we can show you. We've got a video of a really cute puppy. So it's not going to be that different.
I'll try to dig that up in a moment.
Yeah, he'll show it to you. We've actually got a video on YouTube on how it's in little baskets. It's called Puppy in a Basket or something. It's really cute. It's not exactly a Yorkie, but it just takes very little fur. Now, if you watched our cat video, and then you see the other one, you're pretty good about, we've got some good ones. And we got a really nice Rottweiler on our website. So anyway, we don't know if this is...
Wait.
Yep.
Wait. Two more to go.
I just want to know if anybody's interested in, if this would be a lesson that you even want to know how to paint, or if I just painted because I just amused myself.
You are. Wall Story would like to make a donation, and they made a suggestion, painting suggestions, grand piano, keyboard, accordion, and a violin, which is interesting because we had discussed that already.
Well, we had, and in fact, I've got a really cool old dead artist painting of a lady playing a violin, which I really like. Where's that photograph? I should show you guys. I'll show you that photograph. John will find that for you. I thought that would be a cool one, and then I found a really abstract one of a guy playing a grand piano, which I thought would be cool. And then I found two little kids playing a piano, which I thought was adorable. Another one of the old dead artist guys, and I don't know. I wasn't sure if anybody would, the ballet shoes were such a total flop, like about five of them like those.
That to me was a gorgeous painting. You learned a lot in that.
And you didn't have to paint them pink. If you wanted it more sophisticated, you just painted them in beiges, and it would have been a much more sophisticated,
or blue.
Slightly larger, and it would have been a very kind of almost poetic painting. You could get the pink's kind of what you put in little girls' rooms, but you could have not done that.
Not yet.
All right, so then tomorrow...
No.
Two more, okay.
We'd like to thank Jeannie for her donation.
Oh, Jeannie, thank you.
And then Fada, donation.
Thank you, Fada. Appreciate it very much. That is very kind.
Oh, Jeannie figured it out. She wanted to know how to donate. She found the button. I don't like the graffiti. Wouldn't do that one. That's just not me.
See, I'm thinking there's people...
I like the graffiti. Would love to see a Golden Lab painting. We're talking grand piano, yes. Where do we post paintings for Ginger tutorials? We're going to do that. We could put the suggestions in the comments once the tutorial is uploaded. There you go. You have it's a mix on the graffiti. You'll have to see.
I kind of thought it was. I kind of thought it would be. It's sort of. I think it would be really cool, large. Not this small, but I mean really big. Not that I'm going to paint it big, but I think that would be kind of cool big, because it's very arty. You know what I mean? It's a very arty thing.
I will give the floor back to you.
Oh, thanks. It's about time.
It's the least I could do.
All right, tomorrow, before we get too caught up in the day's painting, tomorrow, all right, tomorrow night, assuming the creek doesn't rise and we still have electricity and all that good stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're going to be doing these fall benches
I love those fall benches.
with the puddles.
With the
You know,
puddles.
something about me and puddles. You know, maybe coming from Washington State, I don't think I ever saw a day without puddles, and there are a lot of puddles out here now. So this is all fall benches with puddles. You know, I don't know what the title's going to be, but that's what we're going to be painting tomorrow night. All right, so in case somebody wants to know. Well, you might want to know in case you want to visit us, all right? So that being said, these are the last of our announcements. We have one more, two more, and then we're going to get that painting should be dry, and we can get down to painting it. I want to say one more thing. John says he promises to have these up here by the weekend, right?
That's weather permitting and electricity
Yeah,
stays
but,
on.
yeah, assuming
I was
we-
right in the middle of editing it last night, and electricity went off.
Yeah, so assuming that these are our village pieces, you know, we have that, and
I think I was
and
working on the fountain.
this goes like this. Here's I think the fountain goes on the other side. This is your holiday decor, and we're going to have a lot more of these. These will be available on our website in our store for downloading and owning. All right, I think we're missing. Oh, here's the bakery. This was the one you guys asked. We wanted the bakery. See the little cakes and stuff. Isn't that cute?
It's adorable.
So if you haven't seen that, and so they go, see, here's the little candles, and this could either be a church or hotel, depending on your deal. You know, it doesn't have to be anything that, you know, you can customize these. I think I have it Sunday at 9 a.m., but that could be brunch. Doesn't have to be a church, whatever you want it to be. And then we have the frozen fountain and the gazebo. So that's this one, and then we also have, we'll come later, we'll have the toy store and some other stuff that'll go with it. But right now, these should be out this weekend. By the weekend or sooner.
You know, can you talk any faster? I'm just wondering if you could.
Am I talking too fast?
I can't even keep up with you.
I think these might be out this weekend. What do you think, John?
I think that's a lovely idea, Ginger.
I thought it was, and if you know,
Should we
again,
see
we
if
can't
Sammy can
control
do
the
that?
weather. We can't control the weather, but you know what? We're going to do what we can. All right, now by this time, our yellow stuff has been dried.
There you go. You're slowing it down.
We have our yellow stuff drying, and then I think I have a picture of this somewhere. I'm going to trace on. Where's that?
Oh, I was busy giving announcements.
Yeah, so busy you forgot that. You said, yeah, I'll have it all ready for you. What we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of transfer paper, and we're going to transfer it onto there. We can freehand this in. I'm just going to make life simple for you, and I feel like I would.
9 by 12.
Yeah.
Copy it that way.
You can't. It won't copy?
I can copy what it would give me, and then you'd have to fill in the rest.
Well, will it be the correct size?
Well, yeah, it's going to be a 1-to-1.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me that. I mean, I can freehand it in, but I wanted to show people how to use it. People don't know how to use this transfer paper. This is called Sorel transfer paper. It comes either like wax paper in a roll or these sheets. These sheets you can use over and over again, so that's nice, okay? And we're pretty happy with these. I've got those on Amazon. I've been using transfer paper for years, but if you don't have any transfer paper, you can print something out, and then on the back of it, just take soft chalk and rub it all over and smear it with a cotton ball and do it a couple times and make your own carbon paper. Those of you who remember carbon paper, the reason you don't want to use like carbon paper is you don't want the black. That would smear. If you did that, okay, but suppose that's all you had was carbon paper, so then what would you do? Well, what you would do then is then take spray varnish and spray the carbon markings so that they were sealed, so then you could go ahead and paint over them and they wouldn't smear. Oh, you didn't know that, huh? That's kind of cool. That's a good thing to do, right? So one of the things we want to do is just test and see if it's actually marking on anything. See my little red mark there? All right, that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. That's all we needed. That's all we needed right there. Perfect. I'll just move this over here, and we're all good. It'll be close enough for government work. Did you guys ever say that? Close enough for government work?
All the time.
You used to say that, right? So I mean, it's just a little bit. We have, like I say, we have the full traceable on our website, and we'll just play with this. The reason we painted it yellow was that we need a yellow for the background for the flowers, and we needed to have that light color first. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just tape this on here like this.
Somebody heard, this is interesting,
Yeah?
somebody heard that they can take egg whites, add it to acrylic paint, and extend it by 15 minutes of drying time. Now the question is,
Yeah.
what does that do to the longevity of the painting?
Well, there was some nut bar on YouTube who shall remain nameless because he's a friend of mine, right? Who actually told people that you could use KY jelly and do something like that. And you know what? Golden had a heart attack. All the paint companies had to go out and buy everything at the drugstore to see what you can do. You just don't want to do stuff like that, you guys. You spent some money on your acrylic paint. How much is your time worth?
I would personally buy the extender and just use it.
Yeah, just buy the extender. By the time you bought the eggs, you're really not ahead.
And not knowing what the longevity is.
And also, if it's a crack, it's not egg tempera. It's just people come up with the dumbest stuff. And they, when I was a kid, I remember taking sawdust and flour and all kinds of stuff, and then, making, my own Play-Doh stuff. But they got better recipes for that. So I think the genesis of that sometimes is that people, they see that and they think, well, I could do that with this. And really, we're professional artists. We're using professional paint. You want an extender. You want it to, use more paint. For one thing, it'll, mist your paint. And the other thing is to use like a glazing medium that will extend it pretty well. Stay wet medium in a gel from Liquitex. There's different ones you can buy. They all work. Look at the painting behind me. Not one extender is on that piece. Not one. I've never used that stuff. It's sometimes the hardest thing. People always say, "Well, do you like to paint outside?" And I'm going, "No," because it's raining. But I'm saying no because it's either too hot or too cold, or it doesn't dry right, then the paint acts funny. It doesn't act how it's very predictable for me in the studio. When I don't like to do plein air painting with acrylics, though a lot of people do. But again, that's where you'd want your extenders and stuff. Okay, so you see that? So we have this sort of traced out on here. See that? Okay.
Erica would like to know why the light color first.
Well, because yellow only paints over white, so you have to paint the painting. You have to paint the painting white again, or whatever. So that's our color underneath the color. See, the yellow is the color that's underneath all of this, and all these other colors are on top of it. All right. So, John, could you be so kind as to grab me one of those little canvas sheets, please?
One of my special canvas sheets?
Yeah, just grab me one of those and another towel because I just dropped mine. And I'm going to show you guys the trick. Can you guys see my flower, right? So while he's doing that, I'm going to just give me a yellow one. It's fine. Got a yellow one?
Of course I do. I made a special yellow one for you.
Oh, thanks. Great. Look at that. Isn't that perfect? We're going to talk about brush direction, what happens when it's not the right brush direction. It's what I wanted to focus on tonight. And we just happen to be doing a flower because that's sort of fun. Easy to do. We're using magenta. It's all quadrichrome magenta. Daniel did a great explanation of that when he was on our show. Unfortunately, he will not be here Labor Day, but the weekend after is what we're now scheduling for him. We hope to have him Labor Day, but because our vacation plans got canceled, John and I are shooting for next week, okay? So we're working this week. We're shooting to go out of town next week because we're not, no one's leaving town today. No one's going anywhere. So so we will, of course, have our wonderful new videos up for you guys that you were going to see this week. I have a really good one next week on things you may never have known about mixing color. That'll really save you just hours of time. And then I'm going to show you about, we have another one on how this beautiful mountain and clouds in the mountains. Kind of looks like, mountains and clouds. It's really pretty. That's one we're going to be doing next week. That'll be just pre-recorded and put on YouTube, probably Monday morning and Tuesday morning. We'll put those up. We'll put them up about 8 o'clock next week. The Central Time. Is there another time? Central Time.
Somebody asked a question that went flying by. Hold on a second. Don't go away.
No one's leaving. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, people. We're at 272. We have over 300 people on the show. I'm assuming that each and every one of you have subscribed to us.
Hope so.
Because the counter has not gone up.
You guys, come on. Nothing happens. Nobody comes by in the middle of the night and drops off, use clothes at your front door, or send you emails, or nothing happens to you.
Here it is.
Thank you. All right.
Please put your questions in caps, all caps, so I can find them easier. But what is the difference between slow dry extender and a retarder? Brand name?
Yeah, a lot of it's brand names. Brand names, and each website has their own. My favorite one of all of them is the Liquitex glazing medium, and acts as an extender, a retarder. That's because if you overmix the retarders, you've got a hot mess where you can totally screw it up with the glazing medium, and you'll still be okay, because you can put pure glazing medium on your picture and you won't ruin it, but you can screw it up. You can screw up those retarders in a minute, and gosh, you just don't need them. But whatever. All right, so we were talking about. I want to talk about brush strokes, okay? So here's my petal like this on my flower. I'm just going to do one right here, okay? On this yellow one, okay? Like that. Now, the first one we're going to do, the first petals we're going to do, we've got magenta. Let's see, did I put the burnt umber out? Cad red medium, dazzling purple, ultramarine blue, cad yellow medium. I put the burnt umber. I had all the paint out, John.
I did not touch it.
I know. I'm saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Don't you ever just say? I'm just saying. Burn umber. Here you go. And I had it all out, and then it's apparently not, right?
It could have been the bear and Chester going at it.
Is this burnt umber? That looks like burnt sienna. That isn't it. Well, oh, how annoying. Well, I don't need it right this second. I'll look for it later. All right, I'm done. Want to get distracted. All right, I've got an angle brush. I'm going to move this out of the way, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of water on an angle brush. You don't have an angle, that's all right. And let's take a little bit of cad red medium, a little bit of yellow, and make an orange color like that, right? Just like that. Now, what I want to do here, if this is, well, I'll do it on this one first. We'll pick a little tiny bit of water with this. And just go ahead and very gently say that I want this little bit of color on this this petal right here. It's not the final color, but it is a color that I want right there like that. And you'll notice I'm going up this way. Then I'm going to do the same thing as long as I've got it, because this is fairly thin now. I'm going to just got a little bit of water with this paint. So in fact, where did my glazing medium go? You know where it is? John? You know where the glazing medium is?
It should be right in front of you.
Well, everything's stacked in front of me. I can't reach a thing. All these things are stacked.
Yeah, not a problem. That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
I get paid the big bucks.
That's where you get the big bucks. All right, you see we're doing this like that, okay? And I'm going to just, the satin, is that the satin? Where is it?
Satin.
Okay, we're just going to use some satin glazing medium because I want to make this fairly thin. See, I can just add that to the brush, and that will just make a very thin, almost like a watercolor wash on this. Now look, I'm just going to come up here and doing that. And then I'm going to just come back this way and do the same thing. A little bit of glazing medium, a little bit of yellow. You're looking for the burnt umber?
Yeah, I thought why it's here.
I thought maybe I think in a fit I may have thrown it in the trash. It was not behaving well. Okay, so I've got this now. This is all I'm doing. Now, nothing's really happening here, but I want to show you. Notice that I'm actually following the curve of the petal. Do you see that with the brush? Now let me show you what happens if you don't do that. Suppose you were just happily painting along like this, and then went across like this. You're just going crossways on your petal like this. This will not look like a flower if you do it like this. And I know that people just think it doesn't make any difference. Or they'll outline the flower like this, which we don't want you to do. We don't want you to do any outline. And they'll do it this. So if you do it like this, that just doesn't cut it, because your brush direction, it's like grooves in a record, it's going to show. So you don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave that petal alone. I'm going to come back and we're just going to take a little bit of this glazing medium for now.
Miss Ginger, we have an announcement. We have now reached 402 people watching at one time.
Oh, you guys, thank you very much. I'm so glad that you're watching. All right, so welcome to our live show. All right, so you see how what the glazing medium does, all right, is that it allows you to do almost a watercolor-like wash over the canvas, over the petals like that, watercolor-like wash. And I'm going to just work in acrylics. In oil paints, you probably work on this whole thing, but we're not going to do that. We're going to work on taking a little bit of magenta now over this wet paint. Now look what happened. I'm going to pinch the brush off, and then very gently I'm going to blend that in. And because this is still staying wet a little bit, see how I'm blending that color in like that? So you've got the light orange there. Or you can zoom in a little bit if you want, John. And I'm going to, let's see, where did my yellow go? It's the day of where did Ginger's paints go. Now you all saw I had the yellow. Oh, okay. I used it all up on the background. I want to use yellow oxide, so let's pour some of this yellow out like that. All right, so now I'm going to take a little magenta and yellow. Now that's a different color, tiny bit of glazing medium. Now I'm going to come over this one like this, and I'm going to push and lift up, like that.
So
now you just kind of push down and lift up like that.
Looks like you're creating the veins.
Yeah, it is. It's like creating the veins in the flower, but it's the brush direction, all right? We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to push, and instead of getting water, I'll get a little more glazing medium and just push and lift up with the lighter color being on the outside edge, right, like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing in here like this, kind of wiggle it, push down and lift, like an airplane lifting up on a runway, and lift up. Okay. Now, at this point, what I want to do now is take a little bit of white paint and yellow, okay? Just a tiny bit of white paint and yellow. Now I'm going to come around the outside edge and then start here and lift, and start here and lift, start here and lift, start here and lift, start here and lift, outside edge, push and lift.
Two-tone effect.
Yeah, two-tone effect, absolutely. And let's get a little more yellow on that, a little bit more white. So then we'll do the same thing here. We'll come here and lift. We're not drying anything. A little bit more paint, a little bit more yellow, a little bit of white. Make sure I actually have some paint on the brush doing this. Okay, like that. And the same thing here.
Remember, Ginger, we have new people here, so next time you say pinching off the brush, show us what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so those of you who don't know, so what you do is I always am just sort of wiping the brush off on a rag like this. I don't use a paper towel, and here's why. Because a paper towel, unless I'm doing it like a palette knife, and then you really need one for that because you're going to throw that paper towel away all the time. But basically, a rag like this, a terry cloth rag, an old towel you've cut up, it's so much more absorbent. You can put it in the wash machine, use it over and over again. You do. Someone asked, how do you get the spots out? You don't. They're in there permanently. Just like my truck, my shirt is painted, right? This is a done deal here. But still, there's, you can use these. It's a very ecologically sound thing to do, all right? How's that? Ecologically sound, that sounds good. All right, and here we're going to come this way a little bit with this flower. And then just come back over here on the outside edge a little more like this and lift up. Okay. Now the trick is you lift up. You take the corner of an angle brush like this is nice because you can just take the corner of it, twist and lift, and maybe we'll just take the outside edge like that. See, and then blend that back just like that. All right. So while that's drying, meanwhile back at the branch, that can be drying, right? We don't need to do anything else with that.
Cheryl's asking a question. What's the difference between the Nap Crimson Medium and the Nap Crimson Light? Are they the same? I can't find the medium one.
Naphtha Crimson, it's Cad Red Medium, not Naphtha Crimson Medium. It's Cad Red Medium, and then there's something called Naphtha Crimson Light, which is red, as opposed to Naphtha Crimson, which is, it's your fire engine primary red, so maybe in a different brand it's called something else, but you've got red, which we don't happen to have out. We have Cad Red, which is an orange red, all right? That's what we're using today, is Cad Red, and we're using magenta. So, but for instance, like you'll have like Cad Yellow Medium and Cad Yellow Medium Light, and there you cannot mix Cad Yellow Medium Light by adding white to Cad Yellow Medium. Yellow is one of those primary colors, and let's just come back up here and do the same thing over here to this one. Just kind of what we did before. We're just going to take the kind of a wash of color like this. Maybe this one's going to be a little bit more solid than that other one. And let's see, what am I missing here? I'm missing this. Thank you.
Somebody asked, can you please show how to do this with a bright brush instead of your angle brush?
Sure.
Ooh, she's up to the challenge.
All right, so here's a squared off bright brush. Same thing, okay? I've dampened it and then wiped it off, all right? I'm going to come up here like this and just get a little of this glazing medium. Okay, come up here like this, but you see how my brush strokes are going, they're following the curve of the flower, all right? And this is really important. It's grass, it's up and down, it's not sideways. There's certain brush strokes that happen with certain things.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yep.
We're buffering, so I'm going to pop it out and bring it back.
Okay.
Let me just let them know. Here we go. We're going to stop the feed and bring it back. I got to get myself set up so I can see what's going on. All right, so just put yourself in a holding pattern.
Okay, holding.
And I saw it over here. YouTube didn't even know about it yet. Starting to feed back up. I mean, just give me a second. And it still says it's good, so I think you're back.
All right, so we're back. All right, so we're using the bright brush instead of the angle, and we're using a little bit of the glazing medium, just a drop of that. And this is the satin, but you could use another one. It wouldn't really matter. We're going to come up this way like this, and come up like this, and just, let's see, a little bit more. The glazing mediums allows you to put paint on very thinly and have it still stick to your bottom layer, okay? You can't glaze, you've got to really have some paint on there first, all right? So let's just come around here like that. And first we're starting with a light orange color, all right? See that? Lifting the brush, just start and lift, okay? We'll do the same thing over here. All right, we're gonna come over to this one. Boy, I have this really drawn in light too, don't I? All right, so see how I'm following the curve, all right? And this really makes a difference if you just follow the curve of your flower. Your brush direction is everything, okay? Try not to start and stop in the middle. Go all the way and lift, Don't start in the middle and lift, or you'll have a line, okay? All right, so we're saying that's the sort of the center of this flower right here. Maybe come out a little bit more right here.
Oh, they lost the nap red conversation.
All right, the naphtha crimson, right, is just your primary red, all right? Naphtha crimson light would be a different color. Cad red medium is your orange red. Cad red light is a different color orange. And Cad yellow medium is your primary yellow. If you bought Cad yellow medium light, you could not mix that by adding white to Cad yellow medium. You've got to buy it. These are your primary colors. If you're going to just be one of these people that likes to spend money at the art store, who doesn't? But I mean, invest in your reds and yellows. That's what I would tell you. Invest in your reds and yellows. All right, so we're going to put a little more of this out here and get a little magenta now with the yellow. All right, get a little stronger color. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to come here, a little stronger color that we had before with our magenta, and pull this around. See how I'm curving this around? See, because even with a bright brush, people don't understand it. You can do an edge. With a bright brush, you can absolutely get an edge. To me, the angle's faster, but I used bright brushes for years and years before I ever found an angle brush. And but you see now, if I started here, it wants to erase, so you want to start down in the bottom and lift up. We're going to do that, and that's sort of a fun thing to do. And if anybody kind of wanted the latest news on the hurricane while I'm doing this, basically what's happened is, and the reason it's so rough is that the city is literally shut down. And we've always said that civilization is 3 days away from collapsing if there's no power, all right? Now, a lot of people do not have power, but the thing is, what's happened is there's been so much rain that all the major freeways going in and out of the city are underwater, so nobody can get to us. The helicopters are pulling people off of roofs. There was Facebook had people. I was reading a story today on Facebook. There's like a I'm okay page on Facebook, and you can register with that. And thank you to Mark Bergman for registering me to let everybody know I was okay. So I didn't know about that. I'm not really that great on Facebook, but I was reading a bulletin. People were posting bulletins from their phones on Facebook because their phones are still working. And they were saying that there was an older couple. So we're an old couple. We're trying to get on the roof. We got on our car. We can't reach the roof. We're going to die. Someone help us. And they gave their address, and we looked it up, and they were half a block from the fire station. So I'm hoping they got rescued. I mean, this is the kind of stories that people are seeing. I mean, it's crazy. And there's how many people live in the city?
7 million?
7 million. This is the largest city, it's the fourth largest city in the United States, and it's spread out. All right.
Physically, it's the largest city in the U.S. It's the fourth largest population-wise.
Okay, so so while this is drying, right, I'm going to take a smaller bright brush since you guys asked. We're going to leave all that to dry, all right? We're going to come back in here. I'm going to do our outside. We're going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue.
Well, somebody said, you said do not outline. Why? Brenda asked that question.
Brenda, well, you outline when you're drawing, but you don't when you're painting. It's an interesting thing. You just fill in with color. And I like to start in the middle and spread out my edges. If you're outlining a tree, for instance, then you're stuck with whatever you did. But if you start in the middle and paint the tree, then you can make it as wide as you want. You're not married to that outline, and you can make changes. All right, so I've got ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, and a tiny bit of yellow. All right, a little bit of Dazzling purple. I've got a really dark color here. And I'll come around here on top of my yellow. Now this is where the outline happens. Do you see that with the green paint? Do you see how that's working? Okay. So my outline is happening this way. See? Isn't that cool? So when you're talking about, you're going to come up here like this. Now I probably need a smaller brush for some of this, because this, well, I can almost get it right like that. All right. So now look how that flower starts to stand out. Okay.
And are you still using a bright brush?
I'm using a bright brush. This is a number 4 bright brush.
Wow, you're brave.
Well, if a brand new bright brush will do this. This is an older one, but here's a smaller, newer one. I'll show you. A brand new bright brush will have no trouble with that, because you can do a tiny edge. You see, you can come up here like this, and you can do just a thin edge, just like that, or you can do a wider edge. So for sure, bright brushes are fine. All right. Now I don't want to go too much further than this, because I didn't do the light on the edges of the other flower, but you can see, I just wanted you to see, look what a difference that makes when you're doing that. So if you're going to outline, this is where the outline happens. You can even come in here and take a little bite out of the flower, maybe a bug got it or something, right? I like that, don't you? With something ate it. It's never like that in the photo. They never take it, but that's what happens to my flowers. Things eat them all the time. It's very depressing. Okay, sorry. And let's see what else has happened. One of the major schools where Cinnamon's kids go, elementary schools flooded, so they're not going to have. There's no school till next week. It was all supposed to start this week, so there's been a lot of stuff that's happening. But the thing of it is, the news people are going to sit there in one place and show you 5 cars drowning or something, or they're going to show you stuff. But there's a lot of people that are okay too, and there's a lot of people that are helping other people. I want to just say that too. All right. So now let's go back up here and get a little more magenta here. Let's darken some of this. Let's just come on up here like that, and take a little bit of magenta. Let's just come up here with a little stronger color. All right, just like that. And just because I want these a little bit darker, I'm going to lift up. It doesn't hurt to layer. Okay, and let's come around
Cindy's
like
asking any preference as to which to use, canvas boards or stretch canvas.
Oh, I hate canvas boards. I hate
canvas boards. Can you be a little bit more diplomatic about that?
No, I have no but they're cheap. So you're caught between a catch-22. If it's a practice piece, the canvas board's fine, but they don't paint well, and they're very frustrating. You can actually use, believe it or not, you can use watercolor paper and just do a coat of varnish on it. Either take a gloss medium and varnish the area you're going to paint. Let that dry, and then you can paint on paper.
Yep.
Now the advantage of painting on paper is if you do a whole painting, but suppose you did this whole flower, but you only like this part, right? You hated whatever that happened. You would just take the scissors and cut it.
Try to do that with stretch canvas.
You can't do that with stretch canvas. So yeah, you can even paint, and that's probably pretty. But watercolor paper, the heavy stuff isn't inexpensive either. I'm just saying. But if you happen to have it, a lot of times it's what people happen to have. I like that linen canvas that Jerry's had, that canvas board, but then they said it was only for oil paint, and I couldn't remember why. They insisted you couldn't use it for
acrylic?
For acrylic, and I'm not sure why. It wasn't clear to me why, but they said you couldn't, so what can you say? All right, so I'm going to come back here with a little white paint, a little bit of yellow now on my brush. I'm not even going to wash it. I'm going to come this way and pull my brush just like this. A little bit of white and yellow, like that. Lift up, a little bit of white and yellow. Okay, now let's come like this. These are just, we're layering all this, but again, this is what brush direction does. Where's our little piece of yellow thing? So if you weren't doing that, here's your flower going in the wrong direction. So then if you just came across it like this,
It doesn't look like a flower
oh,
at
it
all.
wouldn't look like a flower. This is what I'm talking about brush direction. Makes a difference, you know. Doesn't look like anything. You're like, I don't understand why my picture doesn't look like yours. You got it. Well, that would be the first thing is make sure your brush direction is going in the right, right order. Okay. So we're going to come up here like this and just flick off some little lighter edges here, and the yellow underneath is going to make it vibrant. Okay.
Somebody's asking, how about the acrylic papers?
Acrylic paper's okay. Sometimes it's a little, we use canvas, these little canvas sheets. This is not paper, this is real canvas in a sheet by Paramount. We get them at Jerry's. They also make a linen. The acrylic paper's okay too. Probably easier to paint on than canvas. There's one kind of stuff that's almost like painting on pure plastic, which is, like painting on your shower curtain, which I'm not a big fan of. But the canvases that probably the best. Michael's sells canvas. They put some canvas on sale very inexpensively if you have to live in where there's a Michael's store. They're big on selling, putting things pretty inexpensive. Let's see if we can come back here now and do a second coat on some of these. Let's see, do I want to do that? We'll probably have to let that dry. Okay, so while
I love when you do that. I'm close up and all of a sudden your arm's gone.
All right, well, I'm going to come around here like that and
I'm
see on this
backing
one,
out.
right? I'm
You're going all
going
over
to come
the
around
place.
like that. All right, so and let's just take a little more white here on the edge of this and there. Okay, there we go. So now, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this, which is a good thing.
No,
to
we're
do.
buffering again. Hold on. Got to restart you.
Okay, we're buffering.
And it's interesting because YouTube's not telling me that it's buffering.
Okay.
They know that I can reset it. And we should be back in a second. Let's see how we still have. Down to 185. Yeah, we've been no, I can't get it back.
What?
It didn't come back this time. I can try it one more time. And then we'll just have to do the recording still goes.
Okay, the recording's
All right,
still going.
Go ahead. It says we're back.
Okay. All right, you guys, we're back. Here we go. We're going to come around here like this. This is why the angle brush is so much easier. I got to tell you, it is easier to do it with the angle because you do have a little bit of.
You got better control over
You got
it.
to. Yeah, that's all it is
Yeah.
control. You see here I'm doing the dark green, and it's very effective. And you can see how we're doing both ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, a little yellow, a little bit of purple. We're starting with the darker green first. And I always like dark in the corners, even if it, like a little more purple back here in the corners. Darken this up. Let's just come in here like this, and then bring it back. And even here, we're aware of the brush strokes. We're not just painting it back and forth. We're actually kind of wiggling the brush, pulling it out on the sides like this. Okay, a little bit more green. Let's just come this way. Don't worry about making the same color green. It's more interesting if it varies. So say, oh, I can't get that green I had it a second ago. Don't even worry about it. Just do the best you can with this because you'll like it better if you have more colors. All right, there. See, isn't that just coming alive? Don't you just love it when you start getting the contrast like this? And then let's see. I think we kind of
this is
got that one
totally
a little
weird.
small. We're buffering again.
We're not, but they're not seeing it, and it's not coming up.
Are you on a different channel now?
Or if I do that, then we've really lost the feed. Now Sammy's just came up. I
All
might
right,
be getting there.
So we're just a little bit slower. We're behind.
It just came back.
All right, so we're behind. Well, basically, you didn't lose anything. We just painted all the green in. I mean, how much of that do you really
Well,
need
and
to see?
again, it's going to be, we have it on the website. Once it's done, we'll put up on our website the full thing.
And here's what happens is when you're in the middle of a storm, we're lucky any of this is working, you guys. So, right? Any of this is working at all. So we feel very grateful about that. All right, here's a little bit of white. Here's a little bit of phthalo blue and yellow, right? A little bit more white. Now I want this sort of lighter green color. Now while this is still wet, I can have fun with this. I'm going to do something a little bit differently. I'm just going to sort of put some leaves in like this. Just, maybe come in like this and maybe show some color in here. Just kind of play with it while it's wet. I'm not really painting leaves. I'm just painting highlights of leaves in here, if that makes sense to you. Just, they're not really saying they're leaves. We're just adding some extra color in here like this to our flowers with a little more of the phthalo blue, just give it a little bit more turquoise. And we'll just do that like that, and that gives us kind of a nice background for our flowers without, we didn't have to, what I always say, we didn't have to say too much. Here's a little bit more of the, adding a little bit more yellow to that. And you can say that there's a little bit of green here. I don't know, maybe something like this. Just it gives you a little bit of continuity without making it just a solid plain green background, without getting it too busy. So then when you get into the greens, now you have to really rinse your brush to get to the rest of this, all right? So let's start by, I'm pretty happy with all of this. I'd like a little bit more magenta over here. So I'm going to mix magenta and cad red medium together. I'm going to darken this one up right here. Now this is our next layer of color. And a leaf like this, we're just going to bring it out. Let's put a little bit of blending medium like that so that it can kind of glaze over the top of this, like that. And a little bit more of this, just coming out here like that, and just lift it up. See how it kind of goes pink over that light stuff? And the same thing here. Let's just start from here and just pull up. See, this is, ooh, that's pretty, isn't it? So don't worry so much about getting exactly like mine, but try to get it where you have some beautiful variation of colors. That's what I would tell you. And this is where this glazing medium comes in really handy, or you can just use a little water, just kind of lift up like that, a little bit thinner. Okay, is that an area you would like on there? Oh, I designed this half fuller. Yeah, somebody wrote me the other day about something. You are so disorganized. If you would just do your videos more organized, I'm thinking, oh, good grief. You know what I mean? Just, I'm all for people that are organized. My good friend Jack White, I found out, who wrote the book, The Mystery of Making It, he was one of those really organized artists. And his feeling was that you did better work if your studio was really organized. And I read that 20 years ago, and I absolutely believe him. But I think that there's the nature of the beast, too. You know what I mean? The nature of the person you're talking to. I think he's probably right, though. The organization is a good thing, and I'm just, well, see how we're layering the colors, we're following the brush strokes, and just kind of coming over here like that. Look at that. And it just, there we go. Let's do it again, a little bit of magenta. Let's just do this again. That, and just bring this back like that. I think I want it even thinner up here over the top. Here we go. Oh, nice. Barely touch that. There you go. Alright, now the centers of these things is very dark, but there's a light center first. So what we've got to do here is that we've got to come up here first, and we want to say that there's something light can take anywhere with you. They dry. If you have a mistake, you can paint over it. You can fix it. Oil paints, I'm sorry. Yes, I painted with oil. I promise you that they're not easier. All right, so I'm going to come back in here with some dark here and break this up a bit. I'm just going to come back and the inside of our flower a little bit and kind of tone this down. You can go. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. You can come back in here like that with your color. This is just red, medium, and magenta. And I want to just say I want this leaf to be a little bit more prominent, and this petal right here to be a little more prominent. Okay, maybe here like that. layer your stuff, you guys. That's all I'm going to tell you. So layer it a little bit. Get in the habit of doing that. Let's see, this is coming this way. All right. So now that let's see, right in here, that could be a little lighter. Oh, this is what I would call a hard edge here on this flower, so I'm going to have to make sure that the top of this petal is where we want it. Okay. Okay, some white with that. With this pinker, there you go. The reason I say that is because we've got the little stamen things on the flowers that we want some contrast. Let's bring this out again. Alright, so people can hear us. No, John is coming. Nobody can hear me, right?
No, they can hear us on the recording, so behave yourself.
Well, why would that say anything? That's a very strange thing to say.
But the way you were asking the question, I wasn't sure where you were going to go.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. Alright. So at this point, since they can't hear me, we're just going to paint that in like that. Alright, I need to dry this one more time. Alright, one more time we're going to dry this.
Okay, I'm going to mute you because that's funny for us. All right, while she's drawing that, again, we apologize for the YouTube people that are trying to hang in there and watch this live. They're apparently getting garbled audio. We're coming out of Houston right now. We'd like to thank Kim for the donation. Another fantastic painting. Ginger, thank you again for all that you do. Thank you, Kim. We really appreciate that. I wanted to mention that before it was flying off on our chat there because I missed it. We're hoping to get our subscriber count up a little bit tonight, but instead we went down two. Just because we didn't like what we were doing tonight. That happened. I'd like to say thank you to Kim for the donation. She writes another fantastic painting, Ginger. Thank you again for all that you do.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, we're going to take a pencil here. That's not going to work. So let's, yeah, we're just going to wing it, you guys. Alright, so I want some white and magenta. And what I want to make here is we're going to start with something coming up like this. It's kind of like a little stamen thing right out of the center. And it's there you go, like that, okay? That's going there, like that, little glaze over that. That's going there. And then this one is starting here, right there, and it's going to end up here. So just here, like this. It's going to come this way. And I'm out of white paint, and I can tell this is all dried up, so nothing's flowing. That's the other thing that happens, too, is that nothing flows when you get out of paint. Or, at some point, people say, well, I want to save it forever. After a couple hours or an hour or two, it starts to really dry out. We should probably have misted that a little bit, that paint, but we didn't. So here we go, a little small angle brush like this. A little bit of water on the brush. How about that? Try a little bit of water on it. So that's not flowing as nicely as I'd like. All right, so this is coming this way, like that. Doesn't come as far as this leaf, but doesn't stop there either. And it's a little wider here at the stem, like that. Now we're going to do it in white first. Okay, so that one's coming that way. This one is a foreshortened one. That means it's looking right at you, so it's a little shorter and a little fatter. Alright, so now what happens here is we're going to go straight into the yellow. We're going to do these little yellow dots right here like this. Just with the corner of your brush, little globs of yellow paint. Little dots like a pine cone. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing here on this one. This before we have to dry it. At some point we're going to have to dry it, but we can do all this here like that. And this is where the yellow oxide comes in. Take a little yellow oxide and do some of that too.
Kind of creates a shadow.
Yeah, show up, right? All right, now, okay, like that. Okay, so now, what happens at the end of this, I'm going to have some red. So if I know that, and wherever there's a light, there's a dark. Remember that rule? So regardless, I've got some red flowers that are going to have to show up here. So I'm going to come up here with some yellow and do this right at this part of the flower. And the reason I'm doing that is so that my red ones show up. The red top of it shows up. And then I'll just kind of fake it and move it this way. Something like that. But I want those red ones, the little red dot thingies, like that, very technical, little red dot thingies to show up. So this part has to be light enough, which is why I'm doing the yellow here. This is going to be light enough for those red ones are going to show up. So here's my red. And now I'm going to sit here with little dots like this, one, two, that just really, using just the corner of the brush, and a 10 red medium, and just dot this on here. And you see they show up because, and then take a little tiny bit of purple with them, just as a drop of that, just for contrast, a few little dots of purple in there. Okay? And the same thing with this one. Now, here with this one, this orange and this yellow isn't showing up very well because of the yellow, so let's just put a little pink next to these. So now you see that the yellow one shows up, see? That's going to show up. And how about here underneath this one? Let's make it darker under here. Now, this is a little secret here. Even if it wasn't like that really in real life, we have to do it so it shows up. Make sense? Alright, so now what happens to this little stem is it comes out a little further with the white, and then it gets these little red, almost like a little cone here at the end. It's a little smaller than that one, like a little arrow cone with a little dot like that. So if I want this to show up, again, this is also fun, but if you want this to show up, then I'll brighten this up right here, like that, okay? And maybe put a little light ones right there like this. There we go. Okay, so now these are kind of, you're going to see this. Now we have to dry these stems and color them, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do is going to dry those stems, and we're going to make those color, and then we're going to put a shadow on there, all right? So we'll take another second and dry everything, John.
All right, go for it. All right, keep trying again. I know if you're on YouTube and you can't really hear me. This lesson is being recorded locally and will be uploaded to our website as quickly as it can get compiled and done. We apologize for this, but we tried to restart the feed 4 times to clear up the audio and did not clear it up. And as far as I can tell, all the feed is going out properly, proper speed, no errors on my side. Even when you guys are getting errors, I didn't see them. You're back, boss.
I'm back. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take some glazing medium, red medium, right like that, and I want to just glaze over this stem right here like that, and I'm going to rip some of that off because I don't want it quite that dark. Take that off, and then just take a little bit of light pink on some part of it, like that. Okay, so I wanted that a little bit. There's our stem. I'm going to do the same thing with this, with a glazing medium and red medium. And glazing. There you go. Wipe it off. There you go. Well, let's see. Let's do this one. Alright, here we go. Right over the white. Okay, like that. Now, it doesn't show up, does it? So how do you get something like this to show up? Well, one thing you can do is that you can make a shadow side to it. But again, it comes down to wherever there's a light, there's a dark thing. So if this isn't showing up, then you're going to have to lighten up something next to this flower. Does that make sense? Yeah? Alright, or maybe on this side, I'll put a dark shadow here. Right, like that. Maybe I'll say there's a dark shadow here on this side of the flower. shadow here coming across this flower like this. And that's showing that makes it look like it's standing above that.
It gives it some depth.
Yeah, it does. And then make it a little bit darker right here, see? So that makes it look like it's lifted up above this one. Okay, like that. Okay? So when you do that, the other one didn't quite have that. Now let's go back with the purple and redefine this area right here like that, because that was a little bit iffy. Okay, and then we're going to come along like that. And let's see, I'm going to bring that up this way. Alright, for that flower. Now see, it's already better, yeah? And then, if you see me rinse the brush, I'll come back with a little purple. And I might come up on either side of this one, you see what I mean? Very gently on either side of this one to make it so that the little stem shows up, see? So wherever if you just remember wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So that's what you've got to do, alright? So now, for these two places, you've got to pick something. So alright, so if I'm saying, let's put some more magenta out because I'm all out.
Next time you load up your brush, you hold it up into the camera so you see how much paint you put on your brush.
Right like this. Got some paint right here.
And so you roll it, okay?
And then I'm going to just come here like this and put it on this one. Okay, like that, coming around here. And I'm doing that because I want this petal, to kind of overlap that one, so that's what's got to be behind. And I might just take a little bit of glazing medium like that, mark most of it off like this. Just come over this yellow and just barely touch it like that. There you go. So that's petal's not as important in it. Let's just very gently. Yeah, glazing medium. I'm going to kind of play a little bit more with the pinks than this one we did in the first one. Because I like that little bit of the pinks. I'm going to play with that a little bit. Here's that little bit of pinks. And maybe, I like the pinks on this one. Maybe we'll make this one a little dark. You know, just kind of increase the color on this one. And if you dry in between, if you don't like something, you can absolutely, lift it off. Let's see, let's just try that a little bit. A little bit better there, like that. Okay.
Where did you get the photo for this one?
Paint My Photo. I got the photo for Paint My Photo. And if you want to see it, we'll post it on Paint My Photo later, the picture. Okay, so I'm going to come around here like this now. And darken this one. Okay. Darken the center part like that, so that's pretty. And let's just darken this right up here at the base of this. Just come up here like that. And just pull that up. Okay. So these are all the things that, depending on what you're trying to say happen to your flowers. You know what I mean? Acrylics, if I would tell you one thing, it's all about layers. And the more you layer, the prettier, to me, the prettier it gets. So let's see, let's take a little bit of that cadmium yellow medium now. Let's see, I'm right in here. I want to come up here. I'm going to redo this. Somebody asked about oil paints. You can't do this with oil paints. But you sure can with acrylics. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to redo this one. Because I can. Alright, I'm going to come up here like this. And just redo that right up here like this. There you go. See, and then maybe right here too. Okay? I'll just come along here and say I'm redoing that petal. Okay? Now, what happens is, because you'll see me just pinch the brush, take some white and magenta, and while this is still wet, I'll just come back up here with this and put the white back. See what I mean? So even if you did something on your flower and you're going, I don't know, I'm not sure if I like it. See, it's okay because there's nothing that's written in stone with acrylics. This is what I love about acrylics. It's just you have all these options, all right? Absolutely all these options of what you can do. And I really so love the fact that in these glazing mediums you can just come up, like for instance, make over the top of this. If you wanted to just remember it's going this way, maybe it's going this way a little bit. just however you want your flower to be. Like, let's just do a little bit right here, like that. Just come in this way. Barely touch it. Look what happens to that petal. Barely touch it. And then, oh, nice. Right? See, I think that's really pretty. And then I want to come down here, see, a little bit more, because acrylic's very darker. Exaggerate some of this light again. Coming off of here like that. Spin this around. Again, just come back this way. Sorry, you can't hear the great sound effects. Right. So your eye goes to the lightest light and the darkest dark. So if I had white stuff all over here, then your eye is fighting where it's going. But so you know now that this is your center of interest because we've done all this contrast on this flower. Does that make sense? Hope it does. Hope it makes perfect sense. Any other questions, John? Is there any questions I can answer? Everybody's kind of giving up and hoping that because I can't hear us talk, right? All right, so we're going to come out here.
I think the only other question I saw, the shadow was not in the original painting.
No, it was not. But I thought that, no, because I reversed the photograph. The photograph has this painting, that flower over somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I had it crossing over, so I rearranged it, so I had to put this, hang on a second.
You did it for composition reasons.
I did a redo.
Look at that.
So you can't do this with oil, friends. Well, I'm just saying, people want to know, but no, you can't, right? You can't do that with oil, right?
Not that easily.
No. You can dry it here, which we should do, right? Get the blue out, right? But I wanted this leaf a little better right here, right? This leaf a little bit better. Let me just dry that real quick, John, just a second, because that's really kind of, that has to dry.
He's drawing that, and I'm chatting with the people. It won't be long. You know, chat with you there if you wanted to correct it. You're saying you can't really do that with oil, not as quickly as you can with acrylics. And you're back.
Yeah, see, I didn't like that right there, but it's so fixable, right? It is so fixable. There we go. See? That's what I'm talking about. See, it's curving for that, it's curving, or following the curve or something, following the curve. Again, this is where I might take a little nap. This is called natural crimson. Let me just show you. I'm going to take it right out of the tube. And I kind of wanted to say that this was darker right here with these little dark red ones here. I can do that here too. Just, it's a different red. It'll show up differently on this flower. Because it's a different red. It's going to show up brighter. That's all. Sometimes you can just kind of a last minute thing right out of the tube, and it's just, a perfectly good thing to do. And anyway, I think that's our hibiscus. I think we've got a good flower going here. I hope everybody liked this. Had fun painting this. I tried to keep it simple. I wanted to say this was a beginner one cookie lesson, and I think that still holds true. You know what I mean? I think we can still say that with fairness, because what we're doing is all the basic simple brushstrokes that you might do to make a painting like this.
Can you fix the upper right-hand corner where the hair was? Smooth that out. You probably don't see as much as we do on the camera. The hair is gone, but the mark is still there.
Up here?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I can't see it at all, but if you can see something, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you can definitely see it in the camera.
Okay.
It's gone.
Right there, sure. And this wouldn't be a bad time to, just kind of check
It's really part of those lights. It's really a different look than we see out here sometimes. I noticed that even when I paint little canvases.
Yeah, it looks a little different, you know what I mean? It just sometimes things look a little back and put a little, color back if you need to, right? But yeah, there's our shadow. All right, I think we're going to call it. I think we've gotten really good. I think we're lucky to have gotten anything at all on this myself.
Yeah, I do too. Again, we never saw an error on our side, and we don't see a problem now, but it is to the center still totally.
You want to know what I'm doing? I'm using the back of a handle of the brush. I'm putting a few little dots in here. Now this is dry. Look at that. How cool is that?
Very clever.
Yeah, well, it works like a champ, isn't it? And you take a tendency when you're doing a little brushwork, right? Well, you can. This is where you do a little bit of brushwork if you need a little detail in here, see? And that's how you do, but I'm just saying if you wanted it, right? This is where you might, put in your detail work if you need it. But I hardly ever use these little brushes, but again, you could if you wanted to. Anything like that. All right, I'll quit. I will sign it. I'm signing it right now. I'm stopping you guys. This is fun. I hope you guys had fun with this. We appreciate all you new guys that have showed up. I hope you're subscribing to our channel. Tomorrow night we are doing, assuming that we still have power, and this is the Houston flooding thing. We're going to do these fall benches, which I think is really cool. We're going to be painting those tomorrow night with the green benches and the green thing, an 8x10 canvas. So we're going to paint tomorrow night live, and hopefully we can still get back on there. But of course, we always want to know what you want to paint. And we asked you guys, for those of you who missed this, we asked you guys if you thought something like this might be fun graffiti. We were not sure. We think you guys are more, landscape people, but we don't know. Your opinion matters to us. We've had some comments about different animals people wanted to paint. And don't forget to join our Wave in Water Masterclass. If you're really into the ocean and you want to focus on the oceans every month, our Wave in Water Masterclass on our website, Gallery. It's a new painting, and this one I think is fantastic on the rocks from one of our old dead artist guys. All right? So, one of our buddies. Now that you've done this, don't you think you could tackle? You remember, you might want to tackle our rose painting, but think about doing it bigger too. How fun is that? See, I think they all kind of go. So have fun and stay safe, all our friends in Houston, and prayers go out to you guys too. I mean, we're here too, but we're feeling very grateful that we still have power